Hi everybody, I'm Haley.
And I'm Kaylee.
And this week we're reviewing Top Gun.
Maverick. Ooh, in sync. Yes, this week we are talking about Top Gun, which is surprising because I didn't really want to watch this movie.
I didn't either.
But I was actually pleasantly surprised. And I guess we'll get into that.
Okay.
So, Top Gun Maverick is an example of a sequel done right. We pick back up with Captain Pete Mitchell, 30 or so years after we last saw him. Not much has changed for Maverick as he's still just as reckless as ever. After getting in hot water once again, Maverick is given an ultimatum: teach out Top Gun or be grounded. Not wanting to give up the skies just yet, Maverick decides to give teaching another try. However, this go-around isn't just a competition between the best of the best. Instead, Maverick must prepare these pilots for a dangerous mission that puts their lives at risk. Dun, dun, dun.
Well said.
Thank you.
So let's get into the background details, shall we?
Speaking of background details, this is not my actual eyebrow piece usually.
No. Wear it proudly.
It's just, I'm paying homage to Tom Cruise's unibrow in the first one.
I didn't think it was that. Let me look it up again.
Get the point of like the unibrow aesthetic. I don't like it on me personally or on Tom Cruise. It bothered me the entire time of that movie. I was like, damn, tweeze them eyebrows. And now I hope you will be thinking the same thing throughout this whole video. But anyways, back to the actual context of the movie that you wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Not my eyebrows.
So Top Gun Maverick, released in 2022, rated PG-13, was 2 hours and 10 minutes. Director of Joseph Kosinski. IMDb gave us a whopping 8.6 out of 10. What's the highest one for now?
I think that is the highest.
Is it?
I think that one and Everything Everywhere All at Once has like an 8.6 as well.
Okay. Rotten Tomatoes, the critics give it a 97% and the audience gives it a 99%. So everyone really likes this movie. So a little bit about the cast. As you know, Tom Cruise is Captain Pete Maverick Mitchell. Val Kilmer was what's ADM? Administer?
You don't have to. Admiral?
Admiral?
I think, yeah, because it's the military.
Ooh. Admiral Tom.
Administrator?
I never said I was the brightest. Kaczynski. And then Miles Teller is Rooster. Jennifer Connelly is Penny Benjamin. Bashir Salahuddin. God damn it. Hold on. Bashir Salahuddin is Hondo. John Hamm is Cyclone. Charles Parnell is Warlock. Monica Barbaro is Phoenix. Lewis Pullman is Bob. Jay Ellis is Payback. Danny Ramirez is Fanboy. Glenn Powell is Hangman. Jack Shoemaker is Omaha.
I don't remember Omaha.
No, I think there were some people who were like in the back. Greg Tarzan Davis was Coyote. Raymond Lee is Yale. Jake Pickling is Harvard. Kara Wang is Halo, and Manny Jacinto is Fritz. So I think those were the other recruits that were kind of in the background. I think that was the remaining of them. So, so the original Top Gun was 1986. It was only rated PG because the 80s. It was an hour and 50 minutes. The director is Tony Scott. IMDb gave that one a 6.9 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes, the critics is a 57%, and audience gave it a 83%.
Yeah.
And kind of the basic characters. I'll go through this quick. Tom Cruise is Maverick. Kelly McGillis is Charlie. Val Kilmer is Ice. Anthony Edwards is Goose. Tom Skerritt is Viper. Michael Ironside is Jester. John Stockwell is Cougar. Rick Rossovich is Slider. Tim Robbins is Merlin. Clarence Gilliard Jr. is Sundown. Whip Hubley is Hollywood. James Tolkien is Stinger. And Meg Ryan is Caroline. So yes, that was that cast. And the only two people that were in the original, I say it like that. The original is Tom Cruise and
Val
Kilmer. So let's get into a little bit of the fun facts, shall we? So according to LA Times, they set up the cameras in the actual plane. So all of these stunts were done by real people. And by real people, I mean the professionals. Do not try that at home.
Not Tom Cruise.
In this one, perhaps not. So they set up cameras, and I guess they removed unnecessary equipment, and they put the cameras like in the back of the windows or whatever.
Yeah.
And they filmed the real pilots flying the actual scenes. But they said all of the stunts and stuff you're seeing it's not CGI.
Yeah.
According
Their
to
faces were really like
sources.
that, huh? They were really going through all that G-force.
Honestly, though,
That's
absolutely
a lot.
not.
That's a lot.
But they did say the actors joined pilots 90 minutes a few times a day, just in the air, just to like practice their lines and feel it and just kind of get a
And get
a feel for
comfortable.
it.
Yeah.
I guess. Because I guess some of the scenes they were filming obviously in there, but they were never driving.
No.
I mean,
I don't think they would be alive.
but something that's interesting is they say you can actually see the cameras in the reflections of, I think, their helmets in some points if you're actually looking hard enough. But they didn't take it out because they knew if they started editing the helmets, it would look a little CGI-ish. So they actually left it in there. But if you want to go back and watch it, or you haven't watched it, look out for the cameras in the helmets.
The cameras.
The cameras in the helmets. Let's see. And then the other one, planeandpilotmag.com. So one of the big questions is, they were saying, is it possible to be a fighter pilot at Cruz's advanced age? I guess a lot of people were like, is that realistic? But the answer is yes. So a naval fighter pilot retired back in 2015 at the age of 56. And internationally, the historical record is replete with older, successful fighter pilots playing their trade beyond the age of 60. But anyway, so I guess they're saying somebody in the U.S. retired at 56, but people around the world, it's been after 60. So
Wow.
I mean, it makes sense. Jeez. If people can drive their cars,
They could definitely do planes.
you can drive a plane. It's not a big deal. So they were saying that they mentioned only Cruise and Kilmer were the two original ones. But in real life, Kilmer did actually battle cancer, and he did have, I don't believe he's able to speak. So they recreated his voice using past audio.
Really?
Yeah. Like when he spoke the one time kind of like at the end, that he wasn't really speaking. They said they generated his voice for that.
My boyfriend was saying that he does have a trach in his throat for when he did have the cancer, but like that was him actually speaking. So I guess there might be conflicting information about if they recreated his voice or if it's like him actually talking.
A combination of both. I don't know. That's what I read. So
I was wondering what they were going to do, because that's why there's a lot of text messages with him and Ice in the movie, is because he can't really talk. So I was wondering what they were going to do whenever he did see him. But I think that it was really cool seeing Val Kilmer back on the screen with Tom Cruise in this movie. I think it was done really well and very emotional too. But I think that was important for them to keep in.
Yes. But how sad is that? Because in real life you're struggling with cancer, but then to play someone with that and then he passes in the movie, so sad. You know what I mean? Like, damn.
No, it is kind of sad.
But
do I have to die?
I don't can you just live and just live his enjoyment, his life? But I guess
Yeah.
gotta have the heart jerker. You know how you get the death in the first one and then this one. But another fun fact, they're also, Top Gun's being sued, I guess, for copyright infringement. I think based off of the original film. They based it off an article or kind of a story that somebody wrote. And I think now, of course, they came out with the second one. So the family of that writer that inspired the first movie, they're suing. So there's also that. Not them battling that, but I'm like, are they suing it now because the new movie came out or what? I'm not really
just
sure.
Sparked it. They're like, oh, I forgot this movie existed.
Yeah,
Sue 'em
they're
again.
like, that's right. Not they're making more money. So
they got more money to give.
we'll see how that ends up. That's pretty much about it.
I guess we'll talk about
let's get into
overall
it.
thoughts. What do
Yes.
you think about this movie?
Overall,
Haley?
I like this movie a lot, and I don't say that often on this channel. If you know me at all, I literally don't find any movie entertaining.
No.
I found this very entertaining, and even though it was a lengthier film at 2 hours and 10 minutes, I didn't mind it. There was a point in time where I was like, when are we wrapping this up? But it wasn't in a bad way. It was in a concerned way. Like, are we good here? But I like this movie.
Surprise,
What about you? Surprise,
Ding,
surprise.
ding, ding,
I don't know. Clap, round of applause. I thought it had action. I thought the storyline was pretty decent. Of course, I have a few issues which we can get into with like plot and this and that.
Yeah.
But overall, I thought it was really entertaining. But I really like the flying sequences. Like, I'm not even usually an action person.
No.
But when they were fighting one of the Ukrainian planes, and they shot a missile at it and it did that cool move, and they're like, what the hell was that? I was like, that was so cool. Like, he just went the way.
Defying gravity.
How the hell they're sitting here like circling each other for fun? Like, if they're in the air going how many miles an hour, and they're just
Tom Cruise and Rooster.
They are whipping it. And
They're over here arguing.
They go way too fast. Yeah, they go way too fast. They zoom. I'm like, these aren't cars. Y'all are whipping it around like y'all can just stop at any moment. So I thought it was cool. And now learning that those were actual real planes, or not real planes, but you know what I mean? Real pilots doing that shit. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I want to go see a show. Do they put on shows?
I think so.
Somewhere. 4th of July is coming up. You know they're going to have a couple fighter planes running around for fun.
Right.
I want to see some flips, though. None of that overhead flying. Yeah. We don't want that. I want to see go over the mountain, dive. It was cool.
No, it was cool. They like went upside down and then twirled around. And it was really nice.
All this technical stuff. You know, you got to go upside down because the air. And then you got to go down. I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. But what did you think?
I also like this movie. Yeah.
Can we take a moment?
Wow, I think that's like 2 movies now
in a row, except not a row,
not with Doctor Strange in the middle, but yeah, I also enjoyed it. I'm not an action person either. I really hate them, and it's very it's kind of surprising because I've actually seen Top Gun before. I rewatched it to watch this movie. But Tristan was like, "When did you watch this?" I was like, "I don't know. I think I was alone." He was like, "Ew, why? Like, you don't watch these movies?" I'm like, "Yeah,
it's a Saturday afternoon. You're folding laundry,
just watching Top Gun."
You know, back when we watched cable and you didn't really have a say in what you could watch. You just had options to choose, like select few options.
It was either like a really bad like sci-fi, not sci-fi, but on the channel sci-fi movie, or
there's a big difference.
It is a big difference. Or like, you know, like on America Destination where it's like the ghost stories, or it was Top Gun. So, you know, I watched all the other ones before. Might as well try out Top Gun. Okay. But anyways, no, I really did enjoy this movie. I was very surprised. And what's also surprising, to, you know, give you a little context of how I came into this movie. So the day that I was going to watch this movie with Haley, my car broke down. I was driving home. I was at a light. It did not go. It was so embarrassing being in the middle lane at the front of the light and having all these people behind me, very upset.
To get out the way and move around you.
It was like 5:30, high traffic, like everybody's trying to go.
That is like worst case scenario.
It was awful. And like right before my car stopped working, I was like, man, I feel like I got to get a new car. And then that bitch just stopped. I was like, not now.
So the car coming to a full stop and resting for a minute, it said, we're done.
It said, that's it.
Damn.
So I had like the engine was running and everything, but my foot all the way down, metal to the pedal to the metal, other way around. Yeah, it didn't go anywhere.
What if you just shot off?
So yeah, I had to get it towed and everything, and so I was having a bad time. And like even at the movies, when we were walking up to the guy, he was looking at me. He was like, "Why so serious?" I was like, "My car broke down. Now I'm broke." And he said, "Ooh, yeah, I'm sorry."
He said, "Never mind. Never gonna ask him when to smile again."
Never ask him again. But so even with that, like me not having a good day and like being stressed, I still really came out really liking this movie. And even being crowded, even to this day, it is still packed in them theaters watching this movie.
Well,
it was IMAX too.
Well, it was the old theater. You know, the one where you can't recline and it's like
we were
30 people to a row. I love the new seats where it's like only 10 to a row. I can have my feet all the way back and people can still walk back and forth.
Yeah, those are nice. I took those for granted in that theater.
Yeah, we were in the actual IMAX. I'm sure IMAX theaters now have those updates, but the one close to us is not as updated.
There was this man in front of us blowing his nose loud and juicy.
Oh my gosh.
People were about to get in a fight.
No, people at the bottom talking this and that. I was like, I don't miss this.
Yeah, I know.
But it was cool being in the movie theater with a lot of people again, just because I'm like, oh my God, we're all watching this together. But I still prefer my personal lounge chair, but continue.
But yeah, even with all those circumstances, I still came out really enjoying this movie.
Something.
It is, especially with an action movie and it being kind of longer and everything. But definitely compared to the original, this one is a million times better.
A million times better.
It's so much better.
I saw the old one after the new one.
Yeah.
And I was deeply underwhelmed. I was like, this was a popular movie back in the day, though. It's like an OG. So,
and I don't like, it's very 80s. It's very dramatic. There's a lot of long, unnecessary scenes. Everybody looks the exact same. So whenever they had their helmets on or whatever, I didn't know who the fuck was who. I was like, I knew Maverick and Goose. That's all I really knew.
I started looking at helmet colors. I was like,
trying to parse them
out.
I
was like, Maverick's is white and blue and this and that.
It was just so.
I don't know what's going on.
And even like the fight scenes were filmed really shitty. And like, I couldn't really tell what plane was what. I'm like, it was very confusing. But the one thing I will say about Top Gun is that they really mistreated Tom Cruise's character. He lost his friend in a short period of time, and they're like, get back in there. What?
Well, they were trying to prepare him for the lifestyle. They said you're going to have to pick yourself up because it's not the first, not the last.
True.
So I guess they have to kind of, beat it out of you. No processing emotions here.
Not at all. Because, like...
That's not healthy.
Who knew? I don't think it was that long. I wish he would have, shown, the time. Yeah, I wish he would have done the time period, because it really felt like it was that day. They're like, get over it, son. Get back in there.
Yeah, I heard about your friend of years. Anyway, so get back in there.
Yeah.
And he's like, put him in the plane. Now, I was like...
Yeah, and then when he was in the actual battle, and he basically was triggered because it happened again. He was found in jet wash and he was losing control, and he was like, "I'm out of here." They're like, "Damn it, Maverick!" And I'm like, "What did y'all expect?"
They're like, "How? Why is he not staying out there?" I wouldn't be out in the first place.
No. So I really felt bad for Maverick in the movie, because it was just like he felt responsible for his friend's death, even though it wasn't his fault. Yeah, but the one thing, like, he had the dog tags of his friend. Why did he not give him to Goose's son? Why did he throw them in the ocean?
It's like Titanic.
For real. He was like, forget your whole other family. You know.
That's why
Rooster was pissed. Yeah, he said. I feel like their relationship wasn't that good. Like, he didn't spend time with, like, Carol even, or like Rooster or whatever. Like, I feel like if you never mind, take it out.
Who didn't spend time? You mean
Maverick? Like, I feel like, I don't know, it's just, I understand. He felt responsible for, like, them losing somebody important to them, so maybe he wouldn't want to see that pain on their face. So
yeah. And did he talk to them that much anyway?
I mean, they seemed kind of close in the first one.
They were. When she was like, "Oh my God, he's such a man whore." Yes. All the beautiful women. Yes. I'd be so pissed if I'm, like, with a guy on a date and the other girl is talking about how much of a womanizer he is. Yeah, I'm like, man, do you want me to go?
Yeah. Am I interrupting?
She was like, but no, he loves you. Right. I'm like, bitch, you said too much. Now I'm upset. I'm ruining the day. I'm mad.
I'm going home. We're definitely not going to the piano and singing together.
But can we talk about what age was she supposed to be? I was so confused. Because on one hand, she's an instructor and she's about to be a bigwig in Washington. Yeah. I was like, is she supposed to be his age? Because she also looks a little older. Yeah. So I was just confused. And it just their relationship came off so forced to me. Because I'm like, I'm so lost. Like, I mean, I don't know. Because then I looked it up. And when she was filming, she's 29 and Tom Cruise is 23.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't know if that was the age that they're supposed to be, or if she's supposed to be like 23 too. Mm-hmm. But she didn't come off to me as a young woman like that. She came off to me as like more of a grown woman,
more distinguished.
So I guess I was, because I kept talking about, she's like my position, and I get it. I'm like, but also, like, he's 2 years past 21. He could barely buy you a drink. Yeah. But she might have supposed to be 20. But I just had to say that because that threw me off, because the way they were setting her up, she's like higher up. She's somebody in her position might be a little older. Yeah. So I wasn't sure, because I'm like, they didn't really discuss the age difference.
Wasn't a
but
big
I guess
deal.
It's not that big of a deal. She's only 29. He's 23.
That man was a fool, though. Not him playing beach volleyball in jeans like a psycho, first of all.
A super psycho. Were they all in jeans?
I think so.
I was like, that's how you toughen them up.
Yeah, right?
They face death every day.
Get in the ocean with them jeans on, too. Come back out. But then he came over to her house for the first time talking about, can I take a shower?
No. She said no. Was that his asking? Like, we gonna...
Yeah, we fucking? Or?
She said, no, you can sit on the patio.
Yeah, with your dirty ass.
She just sat out there.
Yeah, and fell in love with that man. But it was very 80s. The first movie was very 80s. Yeah. And so if you like that, maybe check it out. But I don't think it's a prerequisite to watch this one.
What?
I said how I said it, okay?
A prerequisite?
Yeah. What'd I say?
Prerequisite.
That's the same thing.
It means the same thing.
It is the same thing.
We think.
Just a little spice on the end of it.
A prerequisite.
A prerequisite.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't think you have to watch the original one to really get it.
Not at all.
There's just references of, like, similar to whenever he first met Charlie at the bar and hit on her, and then the next day she was a teacher. That's what they kind of did with him. Like, threw him out of the bar, and then the next day he came in as their teacher. Also with, like, the Goose's death and, like, how he knows Rooster and all them other people. But I don't think it's that important for you to understand.
No. But they kind of did it slick, though, because it did make sense. Rooster did kind of look like I went back and I was like, okay, they kind of look alike a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's just the mustache and they're both white, but I thought they looked similar.
Oh, sorry. It was a little weird. Yeah.
Oh, anyway. But I thought that was good. I was like, okay, they look similar and it kind of makes sense, the story. Not Tom Cruise or Maverick hoeing him for 4 years. He said, I delayed his school. I'm like,
at first I thought it was just because of the death of his father, but no, it was like him being like, you cannot go.
He said you cannot fast. Yeah, I thought he was gonna blame him for the death of his dad, but he's like, no, he hoed me.
He really did.
At least I'm 38. Everybody else here 20.
Yeah,
but I thought they did good because and then the piano scene, I kind of got it more when I watched the first one, and so I was like, oh, that's kind of it did well. I could see there being a part 2.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like they forced a storyline or anything. It just seemed like it'd be reasonable for him to run into his son again, you know.
Yeah.
So I did like that, but I agree. You don't have to see the first movie to know what's going on.
And like even like with them putting the scenes of like Goose and Maverick at the keyboard playing the same song, and then like Goose's death and everything, like that being bled into like the present moment was really smart too. Because if you don't remember, or if you know you've never seen the original one, you would still understand the context of it. So I think they did a good job with this sequel.
I think so too. But it was interesting. So they didn't bring, was it Caroline? I'm sorry. What's her call name?
Charlie.
They didn't bring her back.
No.
I don't even think the actress acts anymore.
I don't think so either.
She's just not in the business anymore. So
But apparently they didn't even ask her.
I guess not. But I mean, it kind of makes sense. I didn't see them being consistent long term. So it's not like, oh no. I mean, she moved to Washington and he probably did whatever. So they brought Jennifer Coolidge. What's her name? Connelly? I cannot for the life of me. I can hear it, but I can't say it.
Coolidge? No. What's her last
name? Not
name?
Coolidge. Love her though. Jennifer Connelly.
Connelly.
They have her. So she plays Penny.
Yes, which was mentioned in the first movie.
So I caught it when I was watching the first movie. So yeah, she plays Penny Benjamin. So they mentioned her twice, I believe. And she's kind of like a reference of Maverick's kind of old fling that he might have had. She's the daughter of some kind of higher up
admiral.
Yeah, admiral, and he takes her on a little joyride and a little zoom, and he's doing some naughty things. So they bring Penny back. But I guarantee you, had I seen the first Top Gun and I saw this one like recently, I wouldn't have caught that. I did. That's Penny.
Yeah, I did.
I don't think I would have, because they kept saying her name kind of quickly. But I was like, okay, they did mention her, so that was her. She came back, bought the bar.
Yep.
Don't break my heart again. Want the wound.
The one thing I wish that they would have done is take my breath away. Why didn't they bring that back?
Because they played it well, it's not their song though.
Oh,
it's him and Charlie's song.
But it was still like they kind of recreated the moment too of her like laying down, and it wasn't silhouetted as much as the other movie. But
you see that kiss? I was like, oh, PG. This is R.
Bro, she was licking that neck too.
She said, I have a script to deliver. And I'm going to expedite it. Deliver it today. It was funny. I was like, oh, PG?
No, yeah. They were getting a little frisky. I was like, ooh, we got fast forward.
Yeah.
It's getting a little inappropriate.
Now, I just didn't care about the love story. I'm not going to lie. Majority of times, I don't care about the love story unless it's a romantic comedy or like that's the main point of it. But I was just like, I don't care. Because, you know, it just, to your point, the first one I feel like didn't really go anywhere. It was just like, I guess just a little story about how a super cocky guy is humbled.
Yeah.
I guess.
Kind of.
And then I have no clue what their mission was at the end.
Yeah, there was.
The mission at the end? What? I don't even know what that was.
I don't know.
I don't know. I just, okay, the bad guys, good guys, go.
Fly.
The best. Literally.
Yeah. I think that's what they did a good job with this time. They actually had a solid story where they were like, here's the mission. Here's the risks. This is what's going to make it complicated with him falling in love with a girl, with Rooster being there and everything. So they planned it out a lot better. This was an actual story. And like, I feel like with the first movie too, there was a lot of terminology that I didn't understand what was going on. I feel like a dumb bitch. I'm like, I'm sitting in these classes too, but I don't know the things. So I'm blanking out. But with this one, like they like kind of broke it down, everything that was going on. And I think that made it easier for us to follow along. So.
Like at first, what was the first guy in the scene? He kind of he had like a little bit of an emotional breakdown and they kept calling it something.
Cougar.
Yeah. And I was like, what are they talking about? I was like, what's going on? I was like, fly the plane. I was so confused. And then they kind of explained it, but they kept referencing it to something else. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what that is.
Exactly.
So I guess he just I thought something was wrong with him, like biologically or like physically, but it was more of like a mental thing.
Yeah.
But I did like it. The only thing That kind of got to me. I was like, why on earth? So they explained this mission, this almost impossible mission.
Yep.
And they're like, you know what? We probably have a bunch of really talented graduates. But no. Let's bring in the next class and pick who's the best out of the class.
Right.
And see who can do it. That was the only thing that I was like, this seems like a mission for the veterans here.
For the experienced ones.
Why are we sending these out on this mission where they were almost certain
to
any
die.
wrong move they're going to die? I'm like, isn't this a job for like literally Tom Cruise? Or not, I keep calling Tom Cruise. For Maverick.
For Maverick.
Or anyone, even if you don't want Maverick, because Maverick is just, hothead and he's, crazy.
But get rid of him. That would be a good way to do it.
I'm not sorry. Him succeeding the mission and you get rid of him at once. They said, there goes that problem.
Yeah, finally.
But that way, but he's your only wild card, so you can only use him once.
True.
You gotta wait.
Use him smart.
You gotta wait for a big problem. But anyway, that was my only thing. As I was sitting here and they're like stressing, and these kids couldn't do it, and I said, "There's no way they're sending these kids on this top mission."
I was surprised that they used Phoenix and Bob. I thought they were the weakest ones.
They were. I saw the other kids in the back working really hard. They had 0 lines. They kind of smiled and stuff. I was like, they look a little more successful.
Yeah.
I'm getting some vibes from them. They kind of passing everything. But of course, they had to do Phoenix and Bob.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's cool to see a woman in there. We didn't see a woman pie the last time.
We didn't. So. I'm glad to see her in there. But can we talk about that trope? The kind of Latina girl that's always in that role with the men.
Yeah, like the main, like Vin Diesel's love interest in Fast and Furious.
And Aliens. You have like the tough Latina who's like tough with the men. So I don't know if they did that on purpose, but I definitely peeped that trope of like, there's a girl involved, so she's got to be a little tough. You know who's tough? A Latin woman. With a little bit of androgyny. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that is true.
I mean, it wasn't bad, but I was just like, of course, it's just, she's kind of...
It is overplayed.
Yeah. I mean, she wasn't like super overly tough macho, so it wasn't like forced. But I was just like, I wonder if they did that because it is low-key that trope. Or if they just chose her because she was a good actress.
Hopefully it's the latter.
We're going to go with they are not discriminating against the sweeter, softer looking women.
Yeah.
I liked it. That was my only thing that was glaring to me. I was like, there's no reason for this at all. There's no reason for them to be asking these kids to do this type of mission. Yeah. Because it seemed like a pretty intense mission.
It did.
And very necessary.
And basically impossible.
And impossible. Yeah. So that was my only thing. But I mean, it did make the story interesting. I was intrigued. I did want to see what was going to happen. But let's talk about it. Rooster was not the best one. And Scene.
No, he was obviously the worst one to pick.
Yeah, my only thing is I was like, honestly, the person who's most like Maverick is Hangman. And I feel like they did not flush Hangman's character out like they should have. Like that was my only other thing. I'm like, honestly, Hangman is Maverick.
Yep.
So to me, they should have either been the ones more involved or they should have made him a bigger character. He was not as big of a character as I thought he was going to be.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to have his only humbling moment was he just wasn't invited to go on the trip. He was clear.
He was still there though.
He was good.
Yeah.
He was running around. He was confident. He was overly confident. He was just like Maverick. But I was like, they didn't really touch on that. Maverick just chose his favorites. Yeah. The kid who was clearly probably the best.
He chose the one that was like going through the most shit and probably traumatized.
Yeah. And he was sitting there going slow as molasses. Yes. It's like, come on, guys, slow and steady wins the race. I said, not now.
We got to churn and burn. No, turn and burn, not churn. Like some butter.
Like 19. Churn and burn. It'll burn all right. But yeah, I was just like, okay, he's clearly the best in this. He should have brought him. Because then he would have been lagging in the back. But I know they had to do the character with Rooster, But I was like, maybe they could have put him both in there. I don't know why he just didn't go at all. No. I'm like, y'all really set him up to be like a low-key Maverick. Yeah. And he didn't really contribute at the end. He just accepted his fate. I'd have been pissed. He said, Rooster.
He said, so y'all trying to fail at this mission, huh?
No, okay. They didn't get hit. Maverick didn't get no kickback. He said, Rooster. They said, okay.
Sounds good.
I said, was he even the top of his class?
I feel like everybody that he picked for his team was like the weakest one.
Everybody in the back like, you know what? I don't want to die.
You're right. You know, let me know when there's an easier one.
Yeah, so that's my only thing is I feel like there are a few things with the storyline. I was like, but it wasn't big enough for me to be mad. And I still liked Rooster's story. You know, I still liked his character. I liked where it was worthwhile. Yeah, it was still worth watching. So it didn't bother me. It wasn't like Rooster gave nothing. He did give something to the storyline. He did. What about you? Did you have any issues with this film or not really? Yes or no?
I don't think I had any issues, but one thing I was kind of thinking was going to happen. We did have a death in this movie. It was Iceman. Spoilers.
Oh. Yeah. And spoiler. Goose dies too.
He does die. So I know we already had a death in the movie, but I was really thinking that Maverick was going to die. And I think I'm wondering if I would have preferred it if he died. I feel like it would have come full circle with him risking his life for Rooster, which was,
the dad
Exactly.
or the son. I could see that. That was another point, is it got a little, they shouldn't be alive right now.
Oh, they should have definitely been dead.
But for the story, it's like, okay. But I would have been okay if he had died.
Yeah.
In the name of saving.
Yeah.
Penny. In the name of kind of not redeeming himself, but kind of giving back to his friend a little bit.
Yeah.
And I kind of think it would touch more on the just let go, because he literally told him it's time to give it up. He's like, I know. And they're like, you're gonna be the leader on the mission. I'm like, not his character is supposed to be calming down, and they put him right in the mission.
True.
You know what I mean? So I was like, I think it would have been kind of like his last fly.
Exactly.
So I kind of think I would like that, unless they're doing the thing where they want to make another one. So
maybe.
It is what it is. But
Top Gun Rooster.
honestly, he was cute. No,
yeah, it's fine.
no.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, okay. Got a little stash to him.
I liked his little dance move on the beach.
He said, I was like,
whatever
go
he
white
did.
boy, go white boy, go white.
Okay.
But yeah, so they did kind of get away with that at the end.
They
Not them
did.
strolling it into the Ukrainian.
Was it Ukraine?
They kept saying Ukraine. I said,
Oh.
wrong choice. It's too soon.
Was it really Ukraine?
It was Ukraine.
I
They
did
kept
not
saying
know
Ukrainian.
that.
I said, this is not correct.
Wait, for real? Was it really Ukraine? That's crazy.
I remember them saying Ukrainian, at least soil, but it was giving me very like Russia, Ukraine, because I think it was like Russian planes, Ukraine, want the hoot.
One of the most curious elements of Top Gun Maverick is that the film is never clear on who its villains are.
I could have sold.
I mean, they said uranium, but I don't think they. I don't.
They said uranium. You're like, damn, why they gotta call it Ukraine like that? Oh my goodness.
Wow. Well,
I'm so sorry. I'm glad we cleared the air. All is forgiven. Oh, they have to do Ukraine like that? But I guess they didn't know this movie was filmed a couple years ago.
I feel like if the bad guy was Ukraine, they would have redone.
They would have probably
a little bit.
You know what? Before release, do a couple
They would've been
voiceovers.
like, you know what? Russia.
Somebody out of pocket voiceover.
What were we talking about after?
So now we squared away that it was not indeed the Ukrainians, but indeed the uranium.
Close enough.
Well, let's move on from that. But yeah, he could have passed.
Oh, right.
That's what
Maverick
we're talking
dying.
about, yeah.
Yes. I don't know. I think I might have preferred it a little bit if he would have passed, because I think it would have just come full circle storyline of him like giving up his life to save Rooster.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't mind him living. I think it was still sweet, and I feel like this movie was very 80s too.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was long, unnecessary scenes of like the football. Like, I mean, I get it. Like they're trying to build a team, but.
And they're kind of showing from the first movie, volleyball.
Exactly,
Paying
so.
ode.
Mm-hmm.
Was that how you say it?
I mean,
Whatever. You know what I meant. Referencing.
homage, right? So I mean, I think this movie did a good job of trying to give those like nostalgic vibes of the 80s and with the unnecessary scenes. So I kind of understand why they wanted to make it more of a happy ending with him like being with his girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad at it for them not killing off Tom Cruise, but I wonder also if they like tested it with like test audiences and he died, and they're like
absolutely not. Not Tom.
not Tom,
Not Tom.
or maybe Tom Cruise has something in his contract. He's like, you cannot kill me.
So you can't kill me. I'm riding this series until
the wheels come off, until the wings
till the
fly
wings
off.
don't fly no more. So other than a little bit of the extra drama, with the womb, I liked it. I thought it was good. The pacing was good. I liked the story. I liked all parts. I liked the beginning. I liked when they were training. The training was fun and interesting. Like when he was showing him how to do it, and he was, playing the little game, not the game, but the training game.
Not the game, but the training
Not
game.
the game, but the training game, which is more serious. And then what was it? Then the end, of course, when they're actually doing the mission. Like I think they set it up. Like
they did
learn
really
the characters. The characters kind of get to know each other, and then they're kind of training together. And you're kind of like, are they going to be able to do this or not? Because it's some treacherous stuff. So I think they set it up well. And then I was enthralled. I don't even like action films. I don't.
Nope.
I don't know, but every now and then one will get me with some cool moves. I guess I'm just tired of the same old like fighting, like superhero.
Yeah.
It's so boring.
Yeah. So this was a different medium.
It's a different type of action. It's like the planes, and it's super cool. They're going fast, like they're doing flips, and I was shook. I'm like, did they do this in person? Are they running around the skies like this?
I don't know.
I didn't even know. Much respect. I don't know how y'all flying around in planes like that fast. Absolutely not. But,
that was something else. Like I noticed there was a lot of scenes where we were in like the cockpit with Tom Cruise, Maverick, and he was like grunting a lot. Like
I think I remember that in the first one.
No, in
or
this
the second
one
one.
too.
Like,
yeah.
okay.
And me and Tristan were talking about it, and he was like, "Yeah, my boyfriend's a respiratory therapist, so he has like different pages that he follows on Facebook. But somebody that was an RT beforehand, he was in the Navy. He did the same thing that Top Gun does, or the movie. And he was like, when you grunt, it keeps you awake, like it gets your blood flowing, so you don't pass out.
Oh, from the G force.
So that's what Tristan was saying. He's like, because he was also actually in the plane while it was moving and everything, it's probably helping him like stay conscious. I'm like, maybe. So what's your score, Haley?
Out of 5? I give this a 4. I like this movie.
So you would recommend?
I would absolutely recommend. I would probably see this one again. Like
Dang.
this week. I was like, I liked it. I really liked the sequences. It was good. I enjoyed it. So I would give it probably a 4. I wouldn't say it's the best ever film I've ever seen in my life, but honestly, for what it is, if I give it like a rating, like a ABC system, I'd probably say it's like an A-.
Wow.
I like this movie. I thought it was pretty good.
I'm surprised.
It's entertaining. I don't know if I'm giving it this high just because I wasn't completely bored out of my mind. And that's not a dig at this movie. I'm just saying in general, like I will watch movies and be so bored.
Yeah.
So I think I finally found one that I actually enjoyed, and just like the feeling of like it was a fun movie.
It was.
So that's why I think I'm gonna rate it pretty high for me, because it's been a while. Well, not that long, because we just watched Everything Everywhere All at Once.
And that was
a really good movie too.
Yeah.
So it's looking promising. We don't hate everything, see? But maybe you do. Your turn.
I don't hate this movie. Oh, I also give it a 4 out of 5.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. We need to stop being similar. We need to have some differing views and dog it out.
Well, we kind of did with Malignant. We didn't agree with that movie.
We didn't. That was one.
Yeah.
I like that movie.
But, I mean, I gave the original one a 3. So I was originally thinking about giving this one a 3.5. But I was like, no, everything is better in this movie. Like the sequences for like them in the air, the storyline was a lot better. I mean, it just all visually came together.
You said a full point will do.
I was like, I gotta go up a whole
You do.
point. It was way better, and I highly recommend it over the first one.
Yeah.
I feel like the first one was kind of just a waste of time, to be honest.
It's a classic.
It is setting up like a whole like classic thing, but it's also just like I don't even really understand the point of that movie. He went in some planes. He didn't even like win Top Gun. Like he was second. Loser. I know he lost his friend or whatever, but
He had a hard time, okay?
You know what? I will fight for Tom Cruise's character in that one, because that was sad. It was pretty
He
fucked
went through
up.
it.
He really did.
He looked so young.
With that unibrow.
Baby.
He didn't know how to shave.
Oh, the ladies loved it.
They
clearly.
did.
So,
But yeah. If you want something else that the ladies clearly love, check out our Instagram. Haley and Kaylee. We also have a TikTok at Press Podcast, where you can check out some more content from us. We also have a website at presspodcast.com, where you can check out our blogs, and our podcast lives there as well. What else do we have?
well, if you're watching us, you clearly know we have a YouTube channel. So if you're listening to us, we have a YouTube channel at Haley and Kaylee. You can give us a look. If you give us a look,
Give us
so
a look.
whack.
Give us a look. That's our white side
Give
coming
us
out.
a view. You can watch us and see us in real time. If you're just curious, match the voice with the face, you know. We also have other videos too that aren't about movies that we do every now and then. They're just kind of more fun. And you can email us at presspodcast@gmail.com if you have any comments, questions, concerns, or if you have any recommendations, or you think our review is totally wrong. So
True.
there's also that.
I also just want to say thank you to our new subscribers. We're like
Yes,
over
hello.
30.
Not us being famous.
I know. Everybody who really enjoyed our Everything Everywhere All at Once movie review. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the comments.
And the comments.
They're
That
very
was
nice.
cool. That was cool.
So hopefully you stick around and you like Top Gun and you like us.
We hope, but
But yeah, I don't know what we're talking about next time. But
We'll
you'll
figure it out.
Find out. should roll up my sleeves, show my Top Guns.